welcome to the vlog. So this was day one. This was our little studio flat we had. It was super cute. It was in the 7th floor on the top floor of the building. It had all the original beams and the ceiling was really pretty. And had a little kitchenette in the corner. But this was the main reason we decided to book this place. This balcony was amazing, the view was beautiful, and right in front of us, right in the distance, you could even see the Vatican. And obviously, after being here for only about 3 hours, I proceeded to get heat stroke. So we did go out earlier, but we came back, I had a nap, and then we were ready to go. So after that, we headed down all the stairs. These are all the stairs that lead up to our room. There's quite a few, doing this a couple of times a day, especially after some drinks and stuff in the evening. So we stopped at the Spanish Steps, which were obviously super busy, but they were really cool. We walked up them, had a walk around up at the top as well. And then in the evening, we got this ginormous charcuterie board, which was so tasty, and obviously a litre of wine because it was great. And then we went to see the Trevi Fountain at night. Even though it was still super busy, I much preferred it at night than when we went during the day, again, a couple of days later. And then here's me making a wish by throwing in a coin. Really nice and chill for the first day. I started off day 2 by reminding myself that I, in fact, can sometimes do good eyeliner every once in a while, and then proceeded to go down Mount Doom. And our original plan for Monday was to go see the Colosseum, but we were so knackered after our flight and a couple of cheeky bevies on the first night that we decided to sleep in a little bit and go to the Pantheon instead. Honestly, the Pantheon was crazy. The architecture was incredible. It was all built out of stone and stuff. It was just amazing. It was nice because it wasn't super busy as well, which made a nice change. Just being inside, it was just incredible. At points around on the floor as well, they had these little drainage holes, which apparently was for when it flooded, so that all the water would drain out, which, I don't know, I just thought that was crazy. And then it just had this point in the center where a huge beam of light would come down the middle, which is really cool. And then we went to the Basilica di Santa Maria sopra Minerva, which is the St. Mary of Minerva church. And that was also super pretty. It was so nice and cool and nice and quiet and peaceful. And then after that, you know, we had to get our first pizza, and this pizza was so good. I'm so jealous. And then we got gelato afterwards, which also was amazing. And then we got some drinks, and I had the biggest and strongest Aperol Spritz I've ever had. Ever. It was so tasty. And then for dinner that evening, we decided to get some bottles of wine, and then get some cheese and meats and bread and stuff, and sit out on the balcony and just spend time with each other and take in the view because it was so nice. On day 3, we did a all-day bike tour down the Appian Way, which is one of the original Roman roads. So by the water, you can see the cycle path, which is where we started our tour. There was 5 of us, as well as the guide, so the group was really nice and small. We went quite a lot through the city centre at first, which was a little scary, but after a while, you got used to it. It had been a while since I'd ridden a bike. And the place we were cycling to was the catacombs, which was so cool. We weren't allowed to film down there, but it was so spooky, and you could see all the parts where they'd extracted all of the skeletons and stuff. And then as a bonus part to the tour, our tour guide brought us to these ginormous aqueducts, which were amazing. They were so huge, they were so cool. We cycled for about 5 hours in total, so we were exhausted. So we did what any sane person would do and go and have another bev. These ones are really expensive though, because they were right near the centre. After the cycle, we were also obviously super hungry, so we went and had an early dinner, and I had this super tasty ravioli. It was so good! And then in the evening, we met up at the Castel Sant'Angelo for a ghost tour. We got given these earpieces to be able to hear what she was saying during the tour, but all it did was remind me of Doctor Who. It was really cool getting to hear about all the murders and executions and stuff, and where they actually really happen, as well as all the ghosties, of course. It's also really nice going around with a local because you get to see so many more places that you wouldn't see otherwise. Of course, we had to get another ice cream and then we headed home. Yeah? So on day 4 was our day where we decided to go to the Colosseum. We got to the Colosseum at about 8 and queued until 9 until it opened. The queue was huge, which is why we had to get there really early to make sure we weren't waiting in the queue for hours. But it was so worth it. The Colosseum is amazing. Being able to see all the part where the stadium floor would be and all the seats and stuff, it was just so cool. This place was probably the busiest place we went. It was so packed and there were loads of huge groups of tours as well, which is why you should definitely get there early and get it done early if you can. I love being able to see underneath where the stadium floor would have been originally, and you could see where all the gladiators would wait for their fights and where they'd keep all the animals and stuff. It was, yeah, it's amazing. After that, we had a midday break for lunch. We had pizza and wine, and then I got really jealous because his pizza looks so much better than mine. Like, look at it. Look at that thing. But then I got over it because I found a butterfly and we went to go see the Garden of Oranges. It was such a nice break from all the heat and the view was really awesome. After that, we found the keyhole to see the Vatican. And basically you look through this little keyhole and you can see the Vatican down this archway of trees. It didn't show up in my camera, but it looks sort of like this. It was so cool. Rome also has these water fountains dotted all over the city where you could refill and have a fresh drink wherever you wanted. Just could never have that in the UK, ever. After that, we walked over to the Roman Forum, which is a whole load of gardens and ancient buildings and stuff. It's where they used to do all of their council and important businessy things, as well as being somewhere where all the more rich people used to live and hang out. As it was our last evening in Rome, we decided to go out for dinner somewhere special, so I put on a cute outfit and we first went to a beer bar called Open Balladin. They had so many different types of beer. I'm not a beer fan, so obviously I had to get a G&T instead. And then we got recommended this really tiny seafood restaurant by a local. We had this raw sea bass with truffles as the starter and then this mixed seafood pasta as our main. And oh my god, it was so tasty, as well as buying 3 bottles of wine. So after that we wanted to go and have more drinks, so we then went and found a bar and we had more wine, obviously, and then after that we went home. So this was our last day in Rome, and on this last day I felt kind of hungover, I'm not gonna lie. But we had the whole day before our flight, so we dropped off our bags and headed out for the day. And for the last day, we'd booked in a pasta making class. The workshop had been set up in this old restaurant which used to make its own pasta. There was about 12 of us there, and we got to learn how to make different kinds of pasta, like ravioli and tagliatelle. The chef who was running the restaurant was really fun, and he was super helpful and was the most Italian person I'd ever met in my life. My pasta sheet was really short, but he gave me some really helpful tips. And he was like, oh, just roll it harder. And then suddenly it got really long, really huge. And then in between different types of pasta, they gave us loads of Prosecco, and we got to try different cheeses. Here's me giving my expert opinion on the cheese. Cheese is good. I think this might have been one of the most fun things we did while we were there. It was so much fun. There was music going, there was drinks, and the atmosphere was just great. And then of course afterwards we got to eat all our hard work, and we had a nice giant glass of red wine to go with it, and a little tiramisu at the end. Oh, and also obviously we got chef's hats and a little certificate each as well. And then after that was finished, we stopped for a little lemonade in the shade before heading back to the airport. My book for this trip was She and Her Cats by Makoto Shinkai, and it was so good. It was so emotionally devastating at times, but it's such a good book. And then our plane got delayed by an hour and a half. It was meant to leave at 8:10 in the evening, but we didn't leave until 10:35 in the end. But yeah, after that we got on the plane and headed home. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.